Hello and howdy everyone, and welcome back to CGL Season 11. My name is Crumble and I'm joined here today by my lovely friend and co-host Gio here for our console NA Masters division today. So we've already got some high-level gameplay coming in from a couple days ago. We had some console plat, so now we're jumping all the way up to Masters for a little bit of that high-level gameplay that we just love to see.
Yeah, while these teams are middle of the pack in terms of the leaderboard, both of these rosters do have something to watch out for and could be one of the rosters that surprise at the later end. Everything matters in the playoffs, right? And as the last week of the regular season strolls in now, it's definitely time for these rosters to pop off. And, especially Guardians, right? Who 2 seasons ago, they won the Masters tier, right? That's what their roster was able to do. And then the season after that, the last season, they actually won the Diamond one, and now they're back up to Masters. And here we have a little look at the kind of players we're going to be seeing, and it's a good roster, right? Middle of the pack, but with the ability, with the history of the team. Once you have the experience of winning something like CGL, that just doesn't go away. It's very important, Crumble.
Yeah, those wins on your notches, those all that stuff under your belt really kind of aids the perception of you being a team to look out for, really. And that is definitely what they are showing us here. We're having our lineup starting with Expert on tank. We're having the DPS lineup looking like Hairball and a typical. And then on support, we have Heals, very fitting, and Jade Donny. So nice lineup there for the side of the Guardians. And when we look at the side of La Espada, which you did tell me previously means the sword in Spanish, so very, very cool name there. Let's talk about a little bit about this roster as well.
Yeah, so all of the starting players for La Espada have experience as well in winning different leagues and being champions. To run it down, Menya's going to be running for your tank. You have the DPS lineup of Nidiaj and Devon, alongside the support lineup of Narcoma and Creon. So a very strong team lineup for both sides, and definitely something that they can use to their advantage. The experience of being winners in this first matchup here, it's definitely going to help. I mean, this is the end of the road, right? This is your last chance to affect your standings, and with the fact that the Guardians are just 1 point up in terms of maps, right? In terms of, sorry, series wins, La Espada are definitely going to be looking to get that win back and to equalize there to help out their position just at the end point of the regular season.
Yeah, and I mean, both these rosters, they have, both these teams have huge rosters. They have upwards of, I believe, 6 or 7, even 8 players. So there is a lot of players, up for grabs here. And we do actually have 2 players on the side of La Espada. I mean, Mania and Nediaj, they've been playing together for a while. They were on a previous team, Trib together. So they do have experience, having that nice synergy. Friendship, really, when you play with someone for a long time, it's definitely a more reliable team. You see that very often, even in Overwatch League level teams. These coaches will build rosters that are really mismatched and have really, really big names in the scene, and everyone thinks, okay, on paper, this is going to be an incredible roster, and then things just don't slot together for any Overwatch League buffs out there. I mean, let's just look at Seoul Dynasty last season. I mean, you had Smurf on tank.
Oh,
Interesting players.
don't remind me.
I won't remind you about the failing that was Seoul Dynasty. I'll remind you about this wonderful new map, Gio, that we have in this season. Antarctic Peninsula. It's a fantastic map so far, and hopefully will be one that shows us a lot of variety in terms of compositions.
Yeah, Antarctic Peninsula going to be the first map of this first of 3 series. Let's see which team can start out with a bang. It will be the side of La Espada rolling out on a very mobile ball composition up against Guardians. Very heavy brawl. They do have a TP on the side of Guardians to get themselves mobile, but this Reinhardt is really going to struggle with the mobility here of the La Espada composition.
Yeah, the Mora, the fade from the Mora does allow, a little bit more escapability from that ball and from the Sombra and the Tracer. But a huge anti-nade is going to be opening up things nice for La Espada, slashing their way into this fight nice and aggressively. Forced to recall there is Devon on the Sombra. La Espada, with the composition they're running here, they have a lot of poke availability, but that kind of point presence is great from this Brawl composition. Good sustain from the Moira as well, and sustained damage from the Tracer. They're going in. Hairball are getting a beautiful opening pick onto Nediaj there on the Tracer. So that ball is kind of alone in these engages, and the point is ticking up and up, and it looks like La Espada are looking for a soft regroup here.
Yeah, Guardians really living up to their name, really able to hold down this certain part of the map and utilize these hard-to-access areas to make it very difficult for this ball composition of La Espada to really get anything done. And there it is again with Hairball.
Hairball is so damn accurate with these icicles, and it's fitting that because the fact that we are in Antarctica right now, the coldness of the map is bringing out their inner May godliness, and it looks like La Espada are really struggling to get in here onto the side of Guardians. Mania not really able to find many good slams here. I think that's really down to Hairball and Atypical, being able to slow them down here. Hack comes through, getting damaged up, but they do have the shift in order to keep them alive. The point control, again, is so strong from the side of Guardians. Trade does come through, so Kren has taken out Hairball, and the follow-up is there. No DPS on the side of Guardians, so they don't have that damage coming through, but the turrets are still there, Gio. Narcoma falls, the Ana gone, so only that Zen heals. The Discord is still very valuable. Mines laid out, they're forcing them to rotate onto this left side, but can Guardians hold things together with this Cole?
Yeah, with that coalescence coming up, it might just get EMP'd out. Yeah, well, and that's going to be the hack up, but will immediately go down. The follow-up struggle to be there. Nediaj, however, looking to pop off here on the Tracer is doing so. Mania has taken Expert down. Crumble, it's a messy one.
Cool. I mean, it looks like the fight was going in the favor of La Espada. They laid down the Sombra, they laid down the Pulse Bomb as well in order to try and get Expert out of the fight, but the Atypical really managed to get things through, and now we're lost fight territory here.
Yeah, Expert is going to have the Shatter as well, which can really just nullify the momentum of the side of La Espada. Devin goes down early. Crumble, this is not looking good for La Espada.
Yeah, Pick can nullify a push indeed. Beat comes out for the sustain. Shatter comes down onto Mania. The Nano has been applied, but it doesn't manage to find so much value. Atypical is so damn consistent on this Symmetra. Hasn't died so far yet, I believe. Doing so much damage. Finds a support line. The beam is strong, and the beams are strong from the Horde side of Guardians. As Atypical and Heals manage to clean up all the kills. And it's a 100 to 0% win here, Gio. First round looking strong for the Guardians.
Yeah, very, very strong ability to hold in there. I do want to point out that Narcoma was going for a very interesting flank on the Ana, going through that kind of side alleyway to get good anti-nades, and the anti-nades were coming through big, but they were struggling to actually push in, especially once Hairball switched to the Torbjorn. That turret was so annoying for Devin when they were on the Sombra that they struggled to really get anything done. That's why you saw Devin switch to, and still is on, the Soldier, which is not as strong a composition. And yeah, they're actually going to fully swap here onto what is known as the Banana Rush. And that's going to help them in the brawls. That's going to help them engage and clamp down here. But now Expert's Hammer is going to get a lot of value here in this brawl once the side of La Espada really engages. So again, it's going to be difficult to dislodge what Guardians have going here.
You can really tell that the point of presence is the name of the game, as yet again on this round as well, they're looking to really use the point to their advantage. They're holding this corner nice and close, holding up that shield. Don't want Devin to get too much value with those shotguns, but the damage is definitely coming through as they are standing on the side there. Shield falling pretty damn low, but Hairball gets the better of the Reaper duel as the Wraith is forced there. Full charge on the railgun. Can Nediaj find anything? Not quite. And this point's presence is great. Fantastic shield management so far from Expert as they manage to take out Devin. Lucio traded out though by Mania, so not that speed to help the Reinhardt get around as quickly as they'd like, but that jump from the Monkey allows them to kite back onto the high ground if they so please, but they do get the point cap. But Mania and Nediaj are finding some picks here.
Nediaj completely unobtrusive ability to just shoot down there onto the point. The side of Guardians, their main flaw is their mobility, and that means that they can't deal with a flanking Nediaj. And when you have such a strong hero like the Sojourn, it's difficult to just hold in and basically keep your heals up against such aggression. Speaking of heals, they are going to have the Coalescence here, which will allow them to have that sustain that they are lacking.
Nediaj again on this flank, he's got the overclock. Looking to pop it at some point. Heals does manage to find Mania there on the Monkey, so already some oppressive value with that Coalescence, and the support line on the side of Guardians really showing, hey, supports can get picks too. And Hairball Atypical going to show That's that nice prowess there. And, I mean, you can really see the point presence, right? Espada is so struggling to actually get that point presence as Nediaj doesn't manage to find picks on the sidelines.
Yeah, getting value from that coalescence was very important, and they got it nice and early. That means they are in a great position with some very good point control ultimates like that. Blossom, the Shatter, and the Blizzard itself. There was 3 massive area control ultimates, and to push into this with like a primal is going to be difficult. There's Kitsune Rush, however.
It's going to be a large fight, cost ultimate. Beat comes out from Crayon, Shatter laid down onto the field. He's found one, but the Blossom is too from Devon. They didn't expect it, and the Beat was there to sustain him through the fight. Found 3 so far is Devon, and Nediaj able to support them here. And, you know, when you do finally get that value from the DPS from Espada, when you finally manage to catch out some members, that's when you really get the momentum.
Yeah, and that's the strength of that Kitsune Rush, being able to boost your entire team. It's really dangerous to go up against, and since Guardians didn't quite have the beat up and ready for it, it just meant it was completely free. They do have the beat now, right now, and Hairball still has this Blossom to utilize.
Yeah, opening things up from Devon getting taken out there. Hairball does find one, and that damage definitely has been laid down as Mania falls low, not able to be sustained by Crayon and Narcoma there, who does get taken out as well by Jade Donnie. And yeah, nice quick fight win there for Guardians, and a lot of ults has been laid down here, so it'll be a lot of dry fights coming up soon.
It's a very different story from the map that we've seen previously. The point is going back and forth, up and down. It's yo-yo season here in CGL. La Espada now looking to get the yo-yo back in their control. Going to be difficult. Both support ults pretty much ready for the Guardians.
Nothing really that aggressive from La Espada, you know, not living up to the name of the sword. Coalescence coming out there from Guardians. They've got both support ults in this fight. They've got the sustain that they need to possibly bring this into a last fight territory and giving La Espada a more staggered fight coming into the final moments of this round. We're seeing the Primal be utilized by Mania, trying to disrupt the side of Guardians just a little bit, but with still a 45 situation, it's looking rough for them here. The beat comes out from Guardians too, and with Hairball getting ebbing so much closer to that Blossom there, it's going to be eyes on the Reapers here, as Devon has their Blossom too. All down to the Reapers here in this fight. Here comes the Blossom. He's going to be laid down on the field. Gets spooked back, but does manage to find Jade Donnie. Is going to be falling low. Devon still has the Wraith form available. Devon's found a pick of their own, and yeah, nice and quick. That's what you want with this composition from La Espada. They turn things around with these burst kills, and now we're coming into another point switch here.
Just when you needed an overtime fight, and if Guardians had won that, they would have taken this and started this series with a win on their side. La Espada really coming up big, and even bigger with the fact that they now have both their support ultimates still, and with 82%, this is going to be the final fight. So how La Espada's support line counteracts these aggressive ultimates coming out from DPS lineup of Guardians is going to be very important.
The call comes out first, the Blizzard 2. Beat is utilized. It's such a huge one. Crayon keeping his team up and alive. There is the picks coming through from La Espada. And although experts managed to find a trade there, make it 2, you know, it's not really too much avail as La Espada just utilized her support ults beautifully and managed to even things out here on Antarctic Peninsula to 1-1.
A cold response from La Espada. The sword has struck and it found blood. We're 1-1 in our first map here. Both these teams are hungry to end the regular season with a nice win in their bag. And La Espada are really finding a lot of value in this Banana Rush composition. With the Moira for both these teams is not a regular pick. It's not something that's, you know, in the hard meta, you would say, but they're really finding value with it, especially with these coalescences. The aggressive use of the coalescence is really winning fights here for both teams. So whenever that coalescence is ready, you know these teams are ready to go very aggressive and just absolutely take it to their opponents. With the exact same compositions from the last map, how will it pair up now on the final map of Antarctica?
Yeah, I mean, Nediaj does supply some nice poke damage, so in these early moments of the fight, La Espada do have a lot to work with. Nediaj are able to possibly get some nice early picks, but the aggression is what Guardians need to use in order to counteract that. They go straight onto Nediaj. They find the problem at the root. They take out the roots of the tree and spit on the grave of it, and they're able to find that opening pick. La Espada being smart about it. They want to kite back, not give them as much presence as they would like. Waiting for Nediaj to come back, so it looks like a slow fight here from La Espada.
Yes, cover your ears, tree lovers, because that was an outstanding analogy there. Now the Edge is back in the fold, however, only 14% for Guardians. Heals is so close to Coalescence already that I don't think La Espada are going to be ready for it once it's up and ready. They're going to get shocked here by a very big burst of aggression.
Yeah, look, already Hairball and the heals.
Ooh.
The damage is unreal. You don't want to be caught out as Monkey there because that Reaper and the Mage just do so much damage to you. It's just unreal. And now, yeah, we're coming into this fight. Coalescence already ready for heals. So if they're able to utilize that and not let Narcoma charge up their Coalescence, it could be a huge fight win for Guardians that push the point control even further into their side.
Yeah, they didn't even need that Coalescence, and it is classic situation where the Reaper just eats your monkey, right? That's why Mania has actually swapped over to the Reinhardt, but is now behind in the Shatter game. They're low on ultimates.
Shatter comes down, lays down onto the field, finds Mania. All you need is that Ryan differential. The charge comes through, and he sticks it. You can charge Expert. You can goddamn charge it. I respect it, though, if it does find a trade. And, I mean, the point control ultimates are still available for Guardians if they so want to use them. They are down their tank player. They've got this Blizzard coming up. They've got the beat for the sustain if they want it. Blizzard lay down onto point. Mania does find Hairball, but Devon able to find some value through that Blizzard. Mania is going to be falling pretty down low. Both supports still available on the side, but Expert is back! And he's back with the charges all of a sudden coming back. The hero for the Guardians. And yeah, that'll be a nice fight win.
Out of nowhere, and now it's 90%. It's panic mode for La Espada. Guardians looking to end it with as strong a showing as they did on that first initial map. And they still have Blossom, they still have Beat, they have the ults to win this. They only have the side of Espada. Oh, they don't touch!
No. They're just not fast.
No!
And it looks like the sword here is a little bit blunted, needs sharpening over the course of this series. Will we see La Espada manage to sharpen their blades? We will see. Definitely Devon here on the Reaper did show us a very good showing. That is for sure. And I mean, this fight in general, that round was really good on La Espada's side, able to utilize the support almost very fantastically in the last fight. So definitely some promising things that we've seen so far. So we'll see if they can even out the series.
Yeah, and that's a little point there for Guardians. I say a little point. It's a big point to get the momentum nice and early, and it is first to free folks. So, will Guardians be looking to go for the sweep? Well, it's not going to be easy because we saw last Espada. They know how to adapt their playstyle against Guardians. Just in that final map there, it came a little too late for anything to really get good value. Both teams here are showing very strong playstyles, very good knowledge of the compositions. However, Guardians, they just seem to have that brawl down, right? They had good fundamentals, good target priority there, where La Espada were sometimes looking a little too sparse, a little too spread out around the field. If they're able to tighten that up, that's what I'd love to see from them. Able to tighten that target priority up, get nice swifter kills, get those eliminations in, and you can really start to win those fights a little quicker. That's what I'd love to see La Espada do as we run into our second map, Grumble.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what you get as a trade-off. You know, Monkey has a lot more versatility than the Ryan, and Sojin's a fantastic pick, but if you don't have that target priority, things are going to crumble pretty damn quickly. No pun intended.
Hey.
With a Ryan-oriented composition, it's much easier to kind of just all focus down one general choke and get that value. Looks like we're going to be hopping into our second map pretty damn soon. Icon Volta, so probably leaning in a little bit into those Ryan compositions we saw come out from Guardian. But,
Definitely.
I mean, definitely less brawlier than Antarctica, so maybe a bit of versatility coming on to second point, where it's a bit more versatile, a bit more open. So we'll see if La Espada are able to take advantage.
Here's my wildcard take, right?
Yeah.
So on the first map, we saw Symmetra played on the side of Guardians with their brawl, right? And we've seen May on the field. Now, I'm not saying that they would ever think about walling on the roof of Eichenwald and TPing over on the first point. But what I am saying is if they would do that, I would be very pleased. And it could work, right? Because it's not really been done a lot in Overwatch 2. You know, it's a classic cheeky move, right? But still, you can really just move in there and take the point. No, Grumble! I was joking! Look at that! They have it! There's no way they do it.
Gio, okay, this is a public statement right now. If they do it, I'll PayPal you £10.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Let's
I'll
go.
take that.
Are
Yeah.
you betting back with
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I'll
Okay.
match it. I'll match
Okay.
it.
Okay, we're matching it. All right, this is interesting. Making things interesting. I'm not
I'll
gonna lie
match
to
it.
you. I think they're gonna do it. I'm pretty certain they're gonna do it. If not, we could see.
I don't like where Hairball's standing right now. It doesn't really work for it. Last Bada have gone for their banana rush, but actually kind of went for the tracer to make it a little bit more divey orientated, a little bit different.
I don't think they're doing it.
What is happening here?
What is going
Oh,
TP onto the high ground, and they're looking to maybe use control of this mini room here, and they actually do jump out straight away. A Tracer from Devon already being a little bit of a thorn in the side. You can see the damage coming through into Narcoma. Got to be careful then. Mania's just going to be able to find an opening pick though, so with that Made down, Mania can kind of breathe a little bit, not going to be slowed down as much as they would like, but yeah, I mean, the Espada, it's nice and quick. That's what you get with the Tracer, and yeah, they're going to be cleaning up this fight nicely.
so that TP gets you over the choke, and that's basically why Guardians went for that. But the problem is, Last Bada are playing such a composition that can really sustain on a lot of different angles. And of course, Ryan's biggest weakness is different angles. You can only swing your hammer so far and shield your team in one direction. They're sticking with this TP. I would love to see them just TP onto point and hold down the point with their brawl. I think that's the best option for them here.
Yeah, they need to be careful not to get caught out by Devon and Nediaj. You know, that split spam, as we called it before. They're already taken out nice and quickly. And Heals is falling quite damn low. Already getting pretty close to the Coalescence, but there's the Pulse Bomb laid down on the field, not able to find anything. Devon. Mania getting caught a little bit low as well there. Hairball is doing some nice shotgun damage there. Jumped onto the point, no bubble available, and Creon gets taken out. They're trying to brawl a brawl composition here, and it's just not working out for them, as that close range is where Expert has their expertise, and already up to that shatter, and first point capped. A big mistake from La Espada to take them head on.
Yeah, so I can claim that they followed my advice, but really, no, that was just our coaches and Chocola being smart. But yeah, but what you do there is if you set yourself on the point, you force them to play your game. And once they're playing your game against a brawl, right, your win condition is achieved. You're brawling them in the mid fight and you're taking that sustained fight. That's why they're here on the high ground, because they do not want to let Nediaj get control here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mania is going to be utilizing that high ground. That cleave damage so good on it. Coalescence utilized. The classic invisible Coalescence coming out here from Heals. Going to be retaliated with a Consuming Rush, but Atypical is not going to let them get value. The Shatter comes down. It's found the Spawn Line Geo. It finds Narcoma. Crayon not able to utilize that beat in this fight. The Sting gets taken out nice and earlier. Mania is struggling here. Going to have to try escape through that castle as they look to reset yet again. And gets caught. Oh, what a stagger.
No escape for the monkey. You're caught in the castle. There are some ultimates here for Last Battle to really get some use out of. As it comes to the bridge, you could use that Primal Rage to just boop some people off, but a more sustainable option is just to set Nediaj up in a great position for this overclock to find as much value as you can here. Very strong ultimate coming out.
Ulticore coming down, not allowing them to really get that point touch, but the beat is there. Mania's already fallen yet again, not able to use that primal, like we said. Overclock comes out, but is trying to brawl things out on point, and we're seeing really La Espada fumble here, Gio, as they try to take every single fight at close range, and Expert is just having a field day on the Reinhardt.
Yeah, the sword has been dulled by the Guardian's ability to just control the map. And that's what happened there with all the ultimates utilized. Once that barrier comes up along with the Molten Core, there's really limited areas of attack. And when you want to set up for something like an overclock, it's a struggle. And now on this smaller choke-like point, this is only going to be in the favor of Guardians here.
Export does fall pretty low there, and yet again, Mania diving in with who? You only have a Cassidy and a Tracer, nothing really to help you sustain those dives, especially, like you said, with these close corners. Your supports aren't going to be able to reach you. Hairball does get traded out there by Devon, so a little bit less close range damage. Those short man shotguns not able to be there to sustain the Reinhardt, and Devon's trying to do their best. Mania now back is actually able to trade out Atypical, but I mean, the turret catching Devon, this is a frazzlement here from La Espada, as Expert is just not dying, Joe. Not dying.
Yeah, because so much heals from the Moira. What you really want from your support lineup. Shatter ready, final fight potential here. Pulse Bomb finds nothing. Crumble. It's a big Shatter.
Shao lays down, finds Mania, who's likely going to fall early in this fight, but another trade actually does come out. Picks are
There we
finally
go.
being found by La Espada. The dull
Nice.
blade hath been sharpened but a bit. Coming on to this last point, but 3 minutes time banks. I mean, Guardian's looking great here so far.
Yeah, there's a chink in the shield, but a chink is all it is. Next fight, Beat's gonna be ready. So is this Molten Core and Wall combination. Basically splitting up the map and basically taking control of it for free. Oh, very early Kintuni Rush.
Yeah, the aggression is actually very well liked here from La Espada. Being aggressive on this aggressive defensive composition. You want to take the advantage of the fact that they're getting these respawns coming in, and they do it nicely, only having to utilize Rush here, which is really good for them.
Yeah, and that's what you want, right? Gets your momentum back. It really sets you up for success. High Noon ready from Nediaj. You're probably wanting to speed it and bubble it, but apart from that, this wall can pretty much counteract it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be utilized that, yeah.
Yeah.
Narcoma falling very, very low there. The Ajax gets the beat. Ajax tier Geo. I cannot believe it. High Noon has been utilized, but there's the beat, there's the wall, just like you said. And La Espada, just as quickly as their blade was shot, and it's been shattered into a million pieces. The Molten Core laid down onto points, so the touch isn't even available. And that's a very quick moment of realization that Guardians just have that consistency up and running better than La Espada.
Sometimes all it takes is just one blunder, and going for the flank on the Cassidy for a flank High Noon just at the wrong time. Just at the wrong time, because your rotation was coming in as Guardians was engaging, meaning it was effectively a 5v4. That's a rare misplay from Nediaj there. At least a mistimed play, I would say, from Nediaj, because if that came a little sooner, you could have got that flank, you could have got a good High Noon. But now 2 minutes on the board here for Eichenwalde is a very good time for Eichenwalde. Sorry, I need to pronounce it right, or all my German teammates are going to throw stones at me. But Guardians are finally showing a little bit of flexibility. They're not playing just only Brawl. I love this situation here. It's a spam Poke comp with this Pharah Mercy. It's a lot of damage from the Pharah Mercy, allowing the Ashe to follow up. And of course, once you get a Discord Orb onto a big round tank like Winston, it's the end of days, right? Speaking of the end of days, I owe you 10 bucks. I owe you 10 bucks. The bet did not go in my favor. No one is doing the TP.
I'm gonna buy a bunch of Big Macs and eat them while on call with you and just smother my face in Big Macs just to rub it in.
Wow.
Yeah, we are going to see Hebel going onto this far, which I do like. It's an interesting pick, and I think they know Devon's coming out on this Tracer, and it's a nice way to counteract what we saw coming out from La Espada already. Not coming out on this Moira, we saw the Kiriko come out first. Dive comes out onto the tank, and Expert now on the Sigma. It's going to be difficult, but the damage boost is definitely showing its prowess here as Grail gets taken out very, very early in this fight. Narcoma low as well. Devon trying to tickle down that Pharah, but these Mercy Heals ain't going anywhere, bud, as you are all alone there on the flank. Discord Orb definitely making some space so far. And it looks like a nice rotation coming through from La Espada, but there's only how many of them left, Joe? Only 4 there on the high ground.
Yeah, I think 3 actually, 2 now, and their numbers dwindle by the second. Oh no, Mania, run! I don't think they're going to get out, or maybe they will just because of the jump. Yeah, there they will. Amazing plays here from Hairball. Some of these missile shots are very accurate as well against the likes of a Lucio, and yeah, I love this from Mania. Switching to the ball, Devon now in the Sombra. A lot more mobility here, ability to go for the backline. That Zen is such a huge target.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to be able to get to the Zen if the Pharah catches you on your rotation, which happens just time and time again here on this defense so far. Hebel now approaching the barrage as well, Gio, so we'll see that come into effect, and I'm sure we will not be disappointed.
Absolutely not. I mean, Barrage is such a dangerous ultimate to utilize for the user. So how they're going to get the value here really depends on the angle that they use and showing ability there. But Mania goes down. Sorry, Mania finds heals.
Yeah, Mania finding heals there, and also atypical. That's 2 already out. Some remnants of the fight has to be brought back here. Hairball using the barrage, but like we said, it's a vulnerable ultimate to use if you don't find that value. You don't find nothing at all there. As Nediaj just so good on this Tracer, able to find so many picks here. And, I mean, they do get a nice burst damagey burst, nice quick win here. But I mean, we got to ask one question here, Gio. What does the Moira now do in this composition? What does it do?
It coalesces, then it switches. I would even switch it before the coalesce because, it's not really going to be getting much done for anyone because everyone's so split up. Yeah, they know there's a cheeky little Devon here. They're spy checking, but of course the Translocator is up. Oh, nice pulse bomb.
Yeah, taking out the Zen early means that you're going to have to have a little bit more space. Arkhammer coming through with this Coalescence and getting caught pretty low. Going to be taken out there by Hairball, consistent as ever. Expert still alive. Such an expert, quite literally,
wow.
sustaining, using their rotations nicely to stay alive. Not many deaths so far in this series.
Rico coming in from Narcoma now, exactly what you want. This is a great composition now, and Guardians really need to watch that heals doesn't get taken out. You need to play more Peely here for your Zenyatta, who's a massive, massive target for the likes of Devon, who's got EMP.
Well, onto the low ground, nice point control here. Atypical trying to contest this Tracer a little bit. Neji hasn't found so much value. Really needs to be looked at a little bit here by Guardians. Hack coming there onto Export on the low ground, who's pretty damn isolated, now being booted back by Mania as well. The Translocator might have been deleted there, or maybe Heals just caught Devon off guard with a cheeky little headshot, but looks like Mania having to reset in the back line.
I said Heals was the target, but I didn't mention how much that Heals loves to target shoot. Zenyatta's such a spammy support line, and with the Brigitte to protect them, it's a very hard target to hit, but it's still your priority.
Yeah, mines do come out as long as that EMP Heals. Lovely transcendence there. Completely against the mines and the EMP. They're Export unable to find anything with the Flux, sadly, and now also pretty sparse from both sides. We do nearly have this rally coming online here from J Donny, maybe able to find some value with that to keep that sustain up and going as Atypical does fall. So they're in a 45 situation, even out here by Crayon. Now we see the rally come out, and Devon's struggling to find that value. Nadiaj going in, able to find a pulse bomb, doesn't manage to get the stick, and yeah, this rally so well timed here by J Donny, able to sustain the team up and keep that point control nice and delicious.
Obviously, we don't have the functionality of doing a replay, right? But I am pretty sure Devon missed EMP. I think Devon actually missed EMP, and that's why Transcendence was just immediate, because Heals was just able to react to it. Now, no ults on the board for Last Beta. 90 seconds to go. You kind of want to play this drive, try and poke and try and get ultimates out of Guardians. Obviously, if you're tracking, you should know that Hairball has not used Molten Core, so that's going to really split your team up. You really want to be getting that ult out, kind of looking for the Zen.
Getting caught out there. I don't really know why the Sigma is playing on the low ground there, as the rest of the team now drop to, scrabbling here. Mania does fall as well, so it is even. But, without that, that Sigma, those spam angles don't become quite as good, but Atypical's turrets are, as consistent as ever. Turret's always going to be the MVP in these matches, as it looks like another reset for last battle.
Yeah, Expert's been playing too many board games because that was a scrambled move there. Kind of went on the low ground, got absolutely tossed about, right? 40 seconds to go. We're approaching final fight. Devon's got this EMP. This is going to be the main win condition here for Last Bada. They want to get the Zenyatta. They need to do it fast.
EMP comes out, finds 4 in this fight, so he may have missed 1, but now lands a beautiful one out here for us. Crown does get traded out, and it looks like picks either way. Body's more in favor of Guardians here, but a beautiful Encore catches out Mania. Kazir Rush has used it in a last-ditch attempt, Joe. We only have 10 seconds on the board. A touch needs to be laid out here by Crayon. They get caught out here, unfortunately, by the turret. Hairball in this Torbjorn, and I think they will get the touch, maybe, with the ball? Yeah.
No, the web shot comes up, and that's going to end all Guardians of the castle, and they're looking strong. 2-0 already in this first to 3 series. What does that mean? Well, it means it is match point, and yeah, your favorite Swedish engineer gets to play of the game. Is this even an ultimate?
The Ajax there.
Oh, of course, the beat cancel. That's why it's play of the game. Incredible stuff there by Hairball, and not only have Guardians won quite strongly against La Espada, they've cost me money in a bet
Yeah.
against New Crumble. So Guardians, they're getting wins for everyone all around,
Hell yeah.
including upper casters. And La Espada, right? They are really struggling against the map control that
Hmm.
Guardians have. Guardians really understand the map to a degree. The last bad are struggling to find attacks, and I would say the best attack that we saw at Last Bada do there was that ball pile drive and the follow up onto the Zen on first point, and that's pretty much the only fight win they had because they got the point round the corner from the staggers, but then after that it fell apart again. So they really only had one fight win on their attack, and it's when they finally got that Zen down. So I would have loved to see a little bit more proactivity in trying to get cooldowns out of the break to open up attacks on the Zenyatta. Maybe too much idling on the low ground as well from the Sombra. I would have loved to see more, especially at this tier of play. You really want to see more proactivity from these teams.
Yeah. And we said it looks like we're going to be going into our next map already.
Yep.
And that next map will be Havana, sorry. So we did see Guardians kind of playing a little bit of that Sigma, so we're going to be able to see that warm up now coming into this next match where we are going to see Expert still on the Sigma, able
Yeah.
to definitely carry that over. And I was just going to say real quick, I mean, we were not complaining, but, criticizing a little bit Expert being on that low ground there on the second point. But it actually kind of threw a wrench in for La Espada somehow, where Devin and Mania were just so focused on getting that Sigma that they would get that trade, but then the high ground position, it's now a 4v3. There are two looking at the Sigma on the low ground, and then there's four on the high ground looking at the rest of the team. And then the Lucio normally would get caught out, and possibly the Kiriko as well. So it was actually kind of an accidental genius move there from Expert to just not go on the high
Well,
ground.
they're the expert, right? What do we
Yeah,
know
exactly.
against expert?
Nothing.
Havana is going to be up next. Havana Unana and Guardians are doing
I was gonna say,
exactly
wow.
what I thought they might do. It's a close hold, folks. That we've seen them just really control everything here in terms of the brawler. Pardon us, folks. We're having a bit of technical things that just need to be done here. But yeah, the close hold is a very strong defense here for Guardians of defense because we've both casted maps where the payload doesn't move. I would say
Yeah.
Havana's the most drawable of the escort maps because of how good close hold can be. Um,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, just a little bit of technical issues that we're sorting out, but we will get into Havana as soon as possible. But yeah, that close hold is going to be very strong, and I want to see Last Bada immediately recognize it and immediately counter it, right? And there's different ways to counteract it. Switch to your own brawl. Pharah Mercy can be very strong, especially when there's no Pharah Mercy on the defense, which is often something you see as well with that Reinhardt comp and a Pharah Mercy on the defense. It's a good kind of combination because Pharah can play on the roof of the spawn, right?
Yes.
And you see Pharah players up there like Spider-Man all day long, chilling out with their Mercy pocket damage boost, going, boom, boom, boom onto the point all the time, and that's just a whole lot of damage, and you just can't deal with it. Barrage comes out. That's a very strong way of defending it, but it is also, the Fire Mercy, a strong counter to the close hold. So, Fire Mercy can get a lot done. Otherwise, go for multiple angles, or just play the brawl yourself. And if I were on the side of Last Bada, and I'm thinking about Guardians, I'd say, let's predict the close hold. I think
Yeah.
this is a predictable move here from Guardians, but predictably strong. Let's see how it works out.
Yeah, Mania on this Diva may be looking to, support those angles that are going to be taken here by Devon and Nediaj on this Ash and Hanzo picks. And they don't really have anything to counteract it. And never mind, Devon straight onto that pharmacy. They've recognized the close hold and they're going to try disband it as quickly as they can. Damage raining in. No Elam's quite yet, still in these poke stages here, Gio. But there's the opening pick onto heals.
That's what we want. The Hanzo finds a pick, but the rush onto the right.
Yeah, they go in nice and close. Expert able to find 2 in this fight, but they completely forgot about the pharmacy, right? So they tried to rush onto the rest of the team. Espada have done a fantastic job of just shutting that down nice and early. And I mean, this is a moment where, for me at least, Gio, I don't know about you, but I kind of question the Moira, because that sustained healing is good, but the Baptiste, that
Yeah.
lamp, the burst healing is just so good. I don't know why you wouldn't just switch onto a Bap.
I mean, it's definitely Heel's preferred hero because we've seen it so much. But yeah, the Baptiste just gets a lot more done. That's why you've seen the soldier come out. But here's the thing: with a solo soldier against Far Mercy, it doesn't matter because there is no Far Mercy on Last Bada. But the Ashe is going to be able to outrange and burst damage the soldier in those duels. So actually, Devon has the advantage there.
I kind of like this split brawl they're doing. I like Hairball situated up on this high ground, spamming these bullets from above, but going to be completely negated by that arrow in the head. Arrows will always prevail against those bullets, as Devon and Nediaj managed to find 2 picks so far in this team fight. Atypical turrets, though, never seem to disappoint here. And, you know, Espada can get as many picks as they want, but, you know, Atypical always managed to trade them out with the turrets. Always.
Yeah, the turret trade is, I guess you could say, typical of that player. But now, Last Father, they are continuing to roll this point, and I think it's time for Guardians to start planning what their next composition is going to be, because obviously that close hold allows you these multiple fights. They're going to be able to fight again on the point. They will be pressured out here by the dragon, but look at this hairball. We can take out Zen.
No way.
Almost hurts.
Oh, but there's the lamp. That's what you want it for. Gets forced out there. Expert managing to find a pick here. Nice in this fight. But the Bob cast quite far away is hacked up. But Devon on this high ground has been pretty uncontested for the most part. We're seeing Coalescence available. And with both support ults online, we'll see if they can utilize it. Atypical's managed to find the pick onto Devon now on this Cassidy. Flux does come out here. Jadoni is going to be close to this B, coming now back into the fight. And that's what you get with that land. You get that little bit of sustain, but you're not going to be able to sustain through that big Rhine hammer. But like we've said many times, there's multiple angles. You can see there, Gio. Expert just so flustered, looking around, spam that shield all over the place, because it's just, you know, eventually those angles will rain down on that Reinhardt.
Rumble, my brain has been crinkled.
Okay.
My interest peaked. You mentioned it in your call. Devon was uncontested on high ground as Ashe, then dropped in front of the Reinhardt. I don't really know if that was a mistake. Well, I know it was a mistake, but I don't know if it was an intentional mistake. Last Vada, they do have a Sombra of their own to counteract the attack.
Able to get the Translocator out, though, is Hairball. That was a great play. You can see they were definitely setting up for that. Now Hairball with this EMP. Hanu definitely did find a lot of space there, and indicates the window completely. And it's a 5-man EMP to a 5-man Gio. A gorgeous fight win that seals the deal pretty much for this attack. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a retouch here for Last Patata. 8 seconds. Can anyone get in quick? You've got Krier and Lucio. They're panicking. The Tracer's trying to touch. They do just touch in time. But now this is such a split, staggered attack. Is there anything to be done properly? Gets booked.
Oh, Jay Donny with that. Oh, that's upsetting. That is really. Oh. I mean, from that first person perspective as well, it looks like a touch, but then, wow, yeah, the boop.
Add that nickel to the pile of nickels that we have from watching a close hold able to stop people getting past the first point on Havana, right?
Amazing.
It's a big pile right now, and Guardians have certainly added their shiny nickel to it. Oh boy, Crumble. Last Bada, they are against the wall right now.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's rough from the chat. Oh no.
Touch point, man.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay, that was not a C9, that was a boop.
No,
right?
It was a boop. It was a really well-placed boop there by Jane Donny, but you're absolutely right. Espada against the wall right now. They're a dusty old sword in the cupboard. They need to be taken out, polished, and they need to do that in the time span of this first point defense for them. So it's really... It's going to be difficult. Expert possibly teasing this Doomfist. I'd love to see it. They're again trying to play this Diva, which I just don't quite get. I don't think it does much in this composition. You know, I think it doesn't do anything that a Ryan wouldn't do better, especially if they're looking to
So,
do this
if
close
I
hold.
had to guess, Crumble, since it's clear now they're going for a close hold, or at least a split close hold, maybe the Diva's there just in case Guardians run the Far Mercy, which is what Last Bada used against Guardians. And now I've said that out loud, I'm thinking maybe that's what they should have kept. Ramatra's on the field, Crumble. The Tempo Tank himself is on the field. Nemesis form going to be deadly in those brawls if they wanted to hold close.
Oh my god, look at this aggression from Expert just going in, cleaving that damage into the enemy team. But Nedia's just there, consistent damage on the soldier. Just managed to find out Hairball in this fight. So it's a 45 situation here for the defense. They're looking strong so far. Can they hold things out? We will have to see. Because, you know, that burst damage from the soldier isn't really able to be counteracted by the Moira. That's why the Baptiste is such a good pick there. Because this Moira can't really counteract, you know, a real quick Helix rocket. And it looks like a re-engage here from Guardians. We'll see if that Nemesis form finds as much value as it did before.
If he comes up atypical on the aggression, Expert's going low, but that Diva mech is under a lot of pressure up close. You cannot Diva Matrix the beam of atypical. You're completely countered in that regard.
Yeah, nice TP bomb placed there onto that small high ground. Ult's coming up now for Espada, but Narcom is taken out early. The sustain is not there. It's all eyes on Crayon to try charge up a beat for that sustain. We're going to see the visor coming out from Nediaj. It's laid out onto the field, but he's again trying to go on the point to brawl out the brawling composition, and the beat laid down onto the field just to seal the deal here for Jay Donny. And the hope is not there for Espada as we're almost at our point cap here.
Yeah, there's got to be no touches here. That's that's a little silly. That's a little silly. We're going to
That's a little.
unpause and finish it, but that is a very strong showing from Guardians here. They're about to get their 3-0 and crumble for two teams who are close to each other in the leaderboard, right? With Guardians looking so much stronger, this is a great time for them moving into. This is the final week, right, of the regular season, going into the playoffs. You know, popping off in the playoffs is exactly when you wanted to.
Oh
I was actually thinking.
got me. That got me. Yeah, I mean, Hairballs. It was the EMP shatter there. Literally caught 5 with both of those ultimates. I mean, look, I think it just comes down to the map knowledge. Like you said, they knew where to rotate, and it felt like they were surviving on these maps longer. Like we said, I mean, oh, Devon's uncontested on this Ash, on this high ground, and then proceeds to drop right into Expert's arms on the Reinhardt, expecting him to, catch him and give him a kiss on the forehead? No, that's not going to happen. So, it did seem like map knowledge was really on the side of Guardians. I mean, I think it was, I don't know if you'd agree with me, most evident on Iconvolt II. I mean, that was rough for them.
For Guardians, who are in terms of the leaderboard kind of middle of the pack, this win is going to bump them up a bit for now until the rest of the matches come through, right? But Guardians, if you're a fan of Guardians, or if you're on Guardians, or you're staff of Guardians, you're probably feeling really good, because I've mentioned it a few times, but if you're going to start like a time where you just start popping off as a team, start playing really strong like that, and I would say very tight coordination as well from Guardians, it's the perfect time going into playoffs if you're able to make that run, right? I mean, yes, standings are really important in terms of where you place in a playoffs, but ultimately, if you're popping off, if you're at your peak in the playoffs, anything is possible. Anything is possible in those playoffs, right? So, perfect time for Guardians to be playing at this level. I've loved seeing how they're able to coordinate. Unfortunate for Last Bada, they were just up against a team who were ready to just take it to the next level.
Yeah, you know, we always do see, and I learned this from the Pokemon anime, that defense is always the best offense. So thank you, Ash Ketchum, for teaching that to me.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it just seemed like they had more. I mean, it's kind of true as well. They had more fortitude, they had more sustain. I feel like, you know, they've got a great map win here, but I feel like they are kind of caging themselves by you know, sticking to the Moira a lot of the times. I feel like it really, really cages you. I feel like the Baptiste is a lot of the time such a better option. It's nice to have the honor up your sleeve as well. So I would like to see some more versatility coming into them, coming out from them in the playoffs. So hopefully that's exactly what we will see from them. But all in all, a great, nice sweep for them, which has really shown just their their togetherness. They didn't seem very frazzled at any points. Even when they did lose some fights, they managed to really come back swinging and definitely showed us a great match. That's
And it even came out on the rematch at the end to show some flexibility. So I'm very excited to see if Guardians are able to pull off a playoff shock for sure. But that is the end of this matchup. That first of three, a clean sweep for the Guardians. It's a quick one, folks. So that's all that this broadcast has for you tonight. Congratulations to the Guardians ending the regular season with an absolute bang. Check out CGL for more streams throughout the week. And of course, we're getting close to that playoffs, which is going to be oh so entertaining if it's anything to go by, watching what the Guardians are capable of. So check out the schedule, see the next stream. But for now, good night, and don't forget to laugh loud and love yourself, folks. See you around.